Hi, this is Cora Stack here. I'm trying to put everything together. I started off with a white paper, a blank sheet, and yeah, I'm getting closer and closer to, linking it all in together. So let me give you, and I'm not paranoid, even though gaslighting would disorientate you big time. I mean, I've been the target of that for years of institutional gaslighting and betrayal. But anyway, I've written about it, and it's a shared human experience, sadly. So that's very clear from all the people reading my work. So no, worldwide. So my name, as you know, is Dr. Cora M. Stack. M is my mother's middle name. Mary. She was a phenomenal, fantastic woman, and she passed away at a very early age. She was a brilliant teacher, a person of mathematics and accounting. Everything else. She was absolutely brilliant. A real decent, humane person of exceptional integrity and humanity. Today, I'm sharing something deeply personal and very important: a story about academic research, constitutional concerns, years of parental alienation, obstacles in democratic processes, and more recently, unexpected online interference. Now, there has been online issues for a long time, but for them now to appear on YouTube is, again, that's all followed the same pattern. Everything I describe here is based on my own experience and the effects these events have had on my life. I'm not accusing any individual or institution of wrongdoing. Unfortunately, I can't. But I can. Not online anyway. I'm simply telling the truth of what I've lived through in the public interest. Where it all started, this is where I believe it started. My journey began with academic research into the protective disclosures of 2014. I had also raised concerns about the dilution of the Irish mathematical curriculum at second level in a very serious debate of Project Maths, where I was also silenced hugely, but not by the papers at the time, not by the Irish Examiner or the Irish Times, who were extremely supportive, in fact, of my work then. And, the data analytics have looked at the methodology in that work and the work I'm doing now, and said that all the work I do now was based on the same methodology and thinking and research methods, and the rigour is that same rigor and that training, or whatever way I went about that research, is embedded in all my research. There's a passion there, which is rigorous, makes international comparisons, ethical and so on, and have a high standard, the highest of standards. So my journey began with academic research into the Protective Disclosures Act 2014, Ireland's whistleblowing law. I wanted to understand whether public bodies were meeting their duties. In fact, it started just by asking a question: what is an act of omission in law? And I went to the citizen information, and the city wasn't there at the moment, so that led to a huge journey of discovery and academic research. So what I discovered was widespread acts of omission, and I didn't even know what they were, but in the end I discovered that there were widespread acts of omission in the implementation of the Act. Many organisations were simply not following the law. Now, I didn't even put it like that in the research paper, but it was evident, obviously, that they weren't. But I didn't say it was deliberate. I just said it was a fact. I submitted my findings to the minister. I expected to be treated as the protective disclosure, and I also submitted to other bodies as well. And I wondered, did those other bodies, were they involved in this retaliation? And I won't mention the most likely one that I was submitted to, and were they involved in trying to, in all this as well? Underneath the sea, I think they were. Yeah, I won't mention who they are, but it was not. Instead of fixing the problem, the law was changed in 2022 in a way that made it weaker. Constitutional concerns. Under Banrach na Héireann, certain protections must exist, including fair democratic processes and independent oversight. But during the presidential nomination period, for the first time in history, no candidate received a council nomination. Statistically, using statistics, I've showed in one of my papers this almost never happens. So the thesis in the hypothesis was the reason this happened was due to the Fine Gael bloc, that the Fine Gael bloc, initiated by the the Fine Gael leadership interfered with the constitution in a significant way, because the statistics said it was beyond actually reasonable doubt, which is well, there you go. So you can determine ascertain what that means if you want. But the effect was a complete blockage of one constitutional pathway through that block, and the likelihood of that happening without the actual official block by Fine Gael was negligible, statistically speaking. So I've added that to the research. This happened at the same time a whistleblowing research raised serious legal and constitutional issues. The years of parental alienation and financial sabotage and every other kind of sabotage that you could be subjected to. During these years, I have also experienced long-term parental alienation, losing meaningful contact with my 5 children. This caused deep emotional pain and long-lasting trauma. Again, I would say due to whistleblowing. Being seen as a whistleblower in certain systems, and this was the retaliation of those systems. I can't name anything other than saying this is what happened. In my opinion, this amounted to perversion of the course of justice. This caused deep emotional pain and long-lasting trauma. I tried to seek help, but the system did not provide an effective remedy. This experience changed me forever. The experience of having no protection. All of this unfolded. Something else became very clear. The institutions I turned to help did not protect me. They did the exact opposite, I think. I cannot say what motivated their decisions, but I have concerns. It was due to the fact that I was known as somebody who researched whistleblowing. But I can say what it felt like from my side. My concerns were routinely gaslighted, not addressed. Doors were closed, phones banged down, support disappeared, and I found myself more and more isolated, socially isolated. At times, it felt like I had been quietly pushed to the edges, absolutely pushed to the edges, not through one event, but through hundreds of small ones. I felt socially excluded, people withdrew, opportunities vanished, and systems that I believed would help me did not. They all disappeared, and they gaslighted major. The experience mirrors, unfortunately, what happens to many whistleblowers all around.